quiet on the final day here?
It was for us, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No, we'd sat back and watched everything else transpire around the league.
Pretty amazing trade deadline season this year.
It's been wild. It's been crazy. I mean, it's part of it. I think had a lot to do with the fact that there were just a lot of buyers this year, and you know the prices. I guess the market dictated the prices is the best way to say that, and it was started slow early, but then it just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and we're up to the last minute before the trade deadline. You see the two big trades that Brandon made. So, it was certainly interesting to say the least through the whole thing.
Yeah, of course, you guys did a lot of your moves before the trade deadline. So,
well, it's all a process. When you look at this all is a reflection of, you can't just look at say, okay, well, this happened just this start of the year. This started 2 years ago, actually, when we hosted the MEM Cup, and the assets are 2.5, 3 years ago, and the assets we had to trade away to acquire the players we did during the MEM Cup, and and then you get into the players you traded, you knew they would be in the league and be playing now, and yet not for us. And yet we thought coming out of the MEM Cup that we would be at a situation where it could be year 3 where we have all these young players coming in, because the key group was going to be our 16-year-olds and our 17-year-olds, and then the 15-year-olds, the kids that's their ages now. And you know what, we didn't have a great start this year to the year, and when it got through the month of November, I figured I would give it till December 10th. That was my deadline, and where it was going to go, and if not, then you have to be a realist about it, and you have to face facts. And what happened, we just fast-tracked everything by 8-9 months, and started bringing the young kids in, moving some older players out, and started acquiring some more assets through the draft, and we got we were able to add a couple good players into our lineup, and Tarzell and Paradis. It's helped us on the back end in a different way than Brandon had done in Schoolhouse. So, but we've accumulated a lot of picks through it all too. So it's certainly been a very interesting 3 weeks. But that being said, I certainly like our future here. I certainly like the present even now. It's just not about the future, but even the present with all the young kids playing. We're going to go through some tough times. You're going to go through trying times, but these young kids are each game, it's you see improvement with them, and you see our team grow a little bit, and that's what you want. And I'm certainly looking forward to where it's headed to here in the future.
Is there anything today that you were thinking about in terms of current roster players and making a move, or
No.
pretty quiet?
No, everyone's calling and talking, and asking about certain players, but it has to make sense. And and the thing in the back of my mind all the time was, you're sitting there thinking, what is best for our young players too? What kind of group do you want around to be around them? So we were cognizant of that, and and it was something we needed to make sure that we were careful in what we were looking at, and as far as what was being presented to us. But at the end of the day, it was there was just a situation where we just wanted to make sure that we stayed status quo at the end of the day, and just carry on. And I'm just not talking about the young players that are here either. It's just about our whole group of prospects, and our other 16-year-olds that aren't in our team. The reason why some of them are not here and the ones that are here is the fact that these other 16-year-olds are in a little different situations. And you take a Zach Smith, for example. He's developing very, very well, playing junior A, junior A in Manitoba, and getting playing time and being well coached. It certainly is a higher level than AAA midget. So, that's just as an example. And then our 15-year-olds, of course, they're all playing AAA midget, and they're doing extremely well too. And the Zalowski boys doing really well up in Edmonton. And so, we thought it's not about whether they're here or where they're at. It's just about where are they best to develop at. And yet next year, as far as I'm concerned, they're all the same. Even the young kids here, they're going to have to prove it again in training camp that they belong here, and the kids coming in, they got to do the same. So, but this is a group of talented young players. We got kids that can skate, can skill, can move, hockey sense, and that's kind of the things that we certainly have focused on our last few drafts, and we're certainly seeing it now. And now they're just it's just starting now. Our present is what we're looking so forward to in the future, is because the way these kids are built as players and what our team's going to be about moving forward.
And now you guys will have a lot of assets to work with at the next couple of drafts.
Well, we certainly do. I mean, we got a couple first rounders this coming year, and and second, and a couple thirds, and it goes on through the draft. So we have a lot of picks, and a lot of high-end picks. And the following year, you have a first, and you have 3 seconds, and a third, and goes on. And same in 2020, you have a first and a couple seconds. So we're certainly lined up well with our draft picks, and not saying that every draft pick is going to be used to be a draft pick and to be used in the draft, or something might happen obviously from now to then to use to improve your team immediately too. So it's nice to have the cupboard full, and it's nice to be able to use what you need when you need it the appropriate way.